What's up guys, it's Astronomic here again and welcome to another episode in my FAQ series. I am bringing you this from EGX because although right now when this is broadcast I am going to be at EGX, I am pre-recording this ready for the weekend. So, greetings from the past if you're listening. Since you're listening to this in the future, if you could let me know what the lottery numbers are for Friday night, that would be fantastic and I can put them on, so much appreciated if you can let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to post quite a popular one. Lots of people have been asking about this, and ever since I decided I was going to do this video, I've seemed to have been bombarded with the question even more. So, a lot of you have been answering saying, stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned, and this is why. Because today I'm going to be looking at the expedition, and I'm going to be looking at how you can progress through the expedition and how far you should be getting in the expedition. So if you watched my Brute/Akulu episode last week, then you will understand that I said to you that you need to be making sure that you're getting at least enough tokens every single day to be getting both Brute and Hakulu. Sorry, not tokens, expedition points, you know what I mean. You want to be getting both these guys. So, the next question, obviously, inevitably, that came up is, well, how do I do that? Come on, Astro, you said do it, but how? How do I get that far? Like, I'm stuck on stage 4, or whatever it is. And by all means, I'm not criticising anyone who reached stage 4, because for a large portion of this game in my earlier days, I could not get past stage 2, so I was really struggling. So don't feel bad if you can't get past stage 4, but there we go. So what we're going to do is, we're just going to jump straight into Expedition, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. I'm not going to do the whole one today, because it is late now, and I am looking forward to EGX tomorrow, and I need to get a good night's sleep, so I'm all rested. So, let's just jump in. The first thing that you need to know when you're doing your expedition is you need to have a varied team setup. Oh, by the way, to answer the first question that everyone asks me, what stage should I get to? You need to be aiming for stage 12 plus consistently every single day so that you'll get enough expedition points to do everything that you need and to get your tokens really quickly. So, going back, you need to have a varied team setup. Everyone says to me, what's a good expedition team? A good expedition team is not one team. That is the perfect answer to that question. You should not just have 5 heroes for expedition, because you will really, really struggle. There are some heroes that you will be consistently on your team, but I think the expedition is one of those aspects of the game that uses the hero bench a lot more. It probably is the heaviest user of the hero bench. If you haven't watched my hero bench episode, I really recommend that you do, so that you understand what I'm talking about. Heroes like Brute are perfect for the expedition because they're self-healing. If you're still using Athos here, you really need to scrap him off. The main reason is that Athos has his tankiness comes through his high health, but that means that over stages his health gets diminished, and as his health is diminished, so is his tankiness. So you'll get to like stage 3 or stage 4, and he'll just taken such a steady beating over the other previous stages that he'll be dead. And you'll have healers like Nago, who won't be able to keep him up because of his massively high health pool. So instead you want someone with a smaller health pool, but with the self-healing, like Brute. So he's perfect for this sort of category. Rempor's good because he's got a nice amount of sustain as well. Fantis is actually a great one for Expedition. If you're looking at a way to really improve your Expedition growth thing, I'd look at getting Fantis. I don't nowadays, but you will need a healer. You really will. I'd pick either Lord Odem or Nago. Ideally have both, because certain stages will be suited for certain healers. So we'll just go with Nago for now, because Lord Odem makes an absolute racket when I broadcast, so I don't really want to do that. And if you're at the point where you're still doing the expedition, you're probably at a point where Dean is still useful. So Dean he's a really, really good hero. If you're anywhere between levels 10 and 68, I would say, then Dean is probably still useful. Somewhere around there anyway, approximately. Let's jump into it. You shouldn't be using potions at least until stage 10. If you're using potions before stage 10, A, it's a waste, and B, you're doing it wrong. So that's the first example. Now, if you watched my previous video where I talked about tactical triggers, by the way, did anyone else notice that I said that I was being so clever with the tactical triggers, but I didn't realise that tactical triggers was also an episode in the Team Talk series. So it's actually Team Talk's tactical triggers, which is, try saying that fast, it's pretty difficult. But if you watch my Tactical Triggers episode, you will notice that I have actually used a combination from that episode, which is the Fantis and Dean combo. And there's a reason for that. It is because Dean hits like a truck in Expedition, but you do not want your team taking damage, because more damage means more problems down the line. You need your team to have heavy sustain. See, the enemy Fantis summoned a minion here. This would be a massive problem if I was later on in the game. And you also saw the enemy Dean pretty much wreck my team there with his swords. Luckily I've got Nargo to heal me back up, but again, if that was later, my team would have just been absolutely shredded there. So, we'll keep those as we are. One of the heroes that you will definitely need if you want to compete high in the expedition, this is an absolute must. You need a hero with a manual interrupt, so a trigger interrupt. So Brute is one, but Brute is a very the skill cap on Brute's interrupt is quite high. Sorry, the skill floor. Sorry, I don't want to talk about skill cap. The skill floor on Brute's interrupt is quite high. You have to have very fast reactions. Lili is a bit more beginner friendly, so if you have, if you want to sub a Lili in, then by all means do so. We will sub Rempor out, put a Lili in, so you can see what I'm talking about. I probably won't use it on this this setup, but we'll just rinse through this as quickly as possible. So let's speed this up. So here's a perfect example of it in action. So I use Fantis. Turns around the enemy team. You've got quite a few of them now. Now I can safely use Dean's ability. It does a lot of damage to the enemy team. You can see a lot of them are on about 10% health there. And even if their triggers have got up to a decent level, like their stamina bars, then even if they use them, they're going to be using them on the Fantasy minion generally. Let's get a heal from Nargo. So I would consider this run to be a pretty good run, because all my heroes have finished at very high health and very high energy levels, so you can see there nicely. So all of them have finished quite high, so I'm happy with that to continue as we are doing. Now, this is probably another one where you're not really going to need the interrupt. Later levels, that's when you're going to start really being careful with your interrupts, because you've got to be careful with enemy fantasies. They will slow you down so much that you'll fail the level. So you always have to keep an eye on this clock up here, because if this clock runs out of time, you do complete the wave, but your entire team gets wiped out, and resurrecting 5 team members is very costly. So you do not want to be doing that. You want to be always checking that time. If it's getting even close, then just back out and try again. So we'll continue forwards. So here we go. This is an enemy Dean, Dean's quite a hard skill to interrupt, to be honest, because his animation isn't really that telling. Fantis is a really, really good one to interrupt, because not only is it easy, but it's also really useful. It will save. So here's an example. If I summon Fantis now, enemy Dean's going to turn around. Oh, yeah, there we go. Enemy Dean's turn around. Now I can use my Dean's trigger to force the trigger of the enemy Dean. There you go. And he used it on the minion, and all my team is safe. That was a perfect example, and I'm so happy that that pulled off perfectly for you to see. So it's a way of forcing the enemy Dean's trigger to save the rest of your team. The minions are disposable. I'm sorry, minions, you know, you are one of my favourite parts of this game, but you are disposable, sadly. And I have to sacrifice you for the greater good of my team. Sorry guys, but that's just the way it is. So, let's fast forward through. Fantis. Let's do another big combo. So say for example that I was on against an enemy team that had a high interrupt, or a skill I wanted to interrupt, sorry. The first thing you need to do if you're VIP is you need to slow down the speed, because there's no way you're going to be interrupting stuff if it's at ×2 speed, unless you're the Flash. So you need to slow it down, and then you just need to be watching for the tells, which you will get the hang of the tells the more you play. You'll know what the animations look like. And the great thing about the expedition, another tip, most people know this but some people don't, and that's that at any point in the level, if you don't like how it's gone, you can literally just press the pause and quit. And if you quit, there's no penalty. None of your team die, even if some of them died before you quit. You get to start that level again from scratch and have another go. So if it's looking at all like it's going a bit sour, just change it. Just get rid, start again. You might need to alter your hero setup slightly. There's no point if you go into a battle and you lose 2 heroes straight away. Just quit out. You've probably done something wrong, and there's no point wasting those and using your resurrects to resurrect them back up when you could just change your team setup slightly and get past it without any resurrects. The other one is Brute is a great example as well of another combo, in that if you use Fantis to summon, or even if you don't use Fantis to summon to say that matter, if you're using Dean to manually trigger all of the enemy's skills and force the skills to be used, like I was saying before, then what you can use is you can use Lily or Brute to interrupt them just as they're all about to use their skills. So Dean forces their energy bars to max, and then because they're just about to use their skills, if you interrupt them, it actually counts as them using the skill, but they're getting interrupted. So all their energy bars get reset back to 0, and you have a lot more time to play with regards to not taking as much damage. That's basically what the expedition comes down to. It's not maximizing your damage output, because generally until the later stages you don't really need to be worrying about your damage output too much. It's more minimizing the damage that your team takes, because if they take a lot of damage, that's why you're going to struggle in the later levels. So here's an example, because we've got Fantis coming. So this is a time when you would really want to be trying to interrupt, because if Fantis does summon her minion, it's going to make things a lot slower for you, and it may well be that you will run out of time. Looks like Deep Root might go down here actually. Oh, just kept her alive. So Fantis, I'm expecting Fantis to summon any second. Keeping an eye on it. There we go. Did we get the interrupt off? Yes, we did. No enemy, no minion. Nothing to deal with. A lot easier. The other thing is you've got to be careful with Dean's trigger, because if you don't have any backup plan, there you go, she's just summoned one anyway. If you don't have any backup plan, and you just use it, you need to be making sure that you're using it on enemies with low health, because if they have high health, they're just going to come and bounce straight back and use their own triggers against your entire team. Which means that sometimes Dean's trigger can actually do more damage than good. This is a perfect example of probably where I will have to back out, because I've just let way too many Fantis minions get summoned. It's going to slow me down, and you can see the time is ticking down now, so if I don't leave, then I could be in danger of losing my entire team, which is not what we want. So this is a perfect example of when you can use the tactical back out option to improve your chances. So let's do that. This was all on purpose, of course, all intentional, so that I could show you guys how it works. Yeah, yeah, it's all intentional. Definitely all 100% intentional. Let's give that another go with the same team and see if we can do any better. This time I just need to be a bit more wary with the Fantis. Let's try and force the Fantis summon. So we interrupted the first Fantis summon there with Brute. Now we're expecting another one to possibly come. Will another one come in time? There's the second one, which Lily should interrupt. So there we go. We safely disposed of Fantis, no summons, and look how much smoother this level is going already. Now notice I didn't use any different heroes, I didn't switch anything. All I did was I just switched on a bit more and was a little bit less casual with my approach. Another great tip for the expedition is you need to be constantly assessing the battle. Right now I'm going to win this battle, and I'm pretty sure I should win it within the time limit. So I don't want to be using too many of my hero triggers, because I want to be getting their bars filled up for the next level. The only exception to this rule is Nago, because obviously the bar will fill up a bit at the end, so you'd like to just use it if their heroes are low on health, get it back up, and his bar will fill up a little bit, so it will help with the next level, getting it closer up to the next heal. It's going to be pretty close actually. Ah, I hate enemy Nargos. No, we're gonna fail again. We're gonna fail. Let's quit out. Ah, that Nargo just screwed me over at the last minute. Well, in that case, we're just gonna get. Let's go for some heavy DPS now. I'm gonna push through this. Kyra's probably gonna die straight away now, and that's just lolling in my face. Thanks, Kyra, but we'll see. Need to slow it down. Ready for Fantasy Summon. It's coming any second. So you can see Kyra now is wrecking up the back line. So she was useful because it's taken out that enemy Naga, which was causing me the problems before. So even if Kyra dies now, it's not the biggest deal because I've still got the other team members to use. But we'll try and use. Notice the tactical use of Kyra's skill there to get her health back up, as per my previous video. Definitely worth watching that one if you're not as aware of the clever ways to use the triggers. I'm going to keep repping that video purely so that I can keep saying check out my Team Talks Tactical Triggers video. And I'm going to keep nailing it first time every time I say that. Absolutely guaranteed. So, let's progress through a little bit more. And then I think I'm going to call it a day because I don't want to do the whole thing, but it's giving you a good idea. You need to be looking at the enemy heroes to make sure that you know what you're facing and what you're going to be needing to counter. So for example, if I'm seeing a Dean in the enemy team, I'm going to be wanting definitely an Interrupter, definitely a Fantis to turn him round, and possibly an enemy Dean, like I say, to force the trigger. Let's give that one a go. So we'll turn them around, force the. That was okay. That was okay actually. See if we can actually just use the abilities to finish Dean off. Yeah, there we go. That probably wasn't the best use of the skills because it also triggered Nargos, but it got rid of the enemy Dean, which is the biggest threat to your team. Dean will hit your entire team like a truck if you let him. You really do not want to let him. If you can learn how to deal with enemy Deans, you will find Expedition a lot easier. Let's get the heal. Come on, Nago. Heal me. Heal the team. Thank you. I think we're going to need another Fantis minion to finish this game off. So as you can see, I'm watching the tide of the battle now. As soon as this Athos drops, the tide is going to massively swing in my favour. The backline is going to be hugely exposed and it should go down pretty quickly, but it's just this getting this Athos down in the first place. And as soon as he goes, I am going to use my Dean trigger just to help finish off this enemy backline, because they take a lot more damage. There you go, he pretty much one-shotted their entire backline, so that's an example of when to use it. Right, that'll do me, guys. I've shown you pretty much everything. It's pretty much just rinse and repeat the further on. Once you get to like level 12 or so, they do start to get a bit harder, but don't beat yourselves up if you can't get past level 12. That's quite normal. It's probably, I can still count it on my fingers the amount of times I've actually got through all the way to level 15. I don't really do the expedition anymore because you can see I'm not really short of gold and I've got all the tokens I need. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my expedition video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please bear in mind that if you're asking me any questions on my Facebook or if you're commenting on the videos, I probably won't be replying at the moment because I am away at EGX enjoying myself, so I will reply to them all on my return. But much luck, guys, and I will speak to you all next Wednesday. Catch you later.